I was riding my motorcycle today, and unfortunately for me, it was raining a bunch, and I had to get home, so I had to keep going. But also, the other thing was that there was a ton of traffic I was coming home from, and one lane only for probably like 30 minutes. So, what I ended up having to do riding my motorcycle was I was in the friction zone for a lot of it. And the friction zone is really that place where you're not quite in gear yet, but you're not stalling out either. So you have simultaneously your hand on the accelerator, but then you're also kind of feathering the clutch a little bit and rolling them both at the same time. So you have that momentum without going super fast, and you're kind of between gears, I think would be the key thing. So you're between gears, you're not going fast, you're about like probably 5 to 10 kilometers an hour. So slow. Were you going slow, right? And I was doing this, and what I really love about being in the friction zone specifically is that when you get good at it, it's actually kind of fun because you're coordinating your left hand, your right hand, and also, you're paying attention to the rear brake because I apply the rear brake. So that just gives the engine some stability and kind of smooths out your journey when you're going slow. And I was in freaking this friction zone for so long, and I was like, wow, I'm actually really enjoying this because my skills are enough that I can actually be in a place to enjoy that momentum that isn't going super fast, and I'm also not sucking and going slow. And I was like, what a amazing, really metaphor for life. You're not going super fast, you're not stalling out, you're still going towards your goals. You're just not going so fast or at breakneck speed that you might have an accident, or you might blow out a tire, or someone comes in out of your blind spot and you don't have time to react and maybe you collide. So I really was reflecting that it's such a metaphor for my life right now. Where I'm at is I have two businesses. I have my business coaching mentorship business, and then I have a podcast business. And I've just had some changes in my personal life that means that I can't really go as fast as I have been going in those endeavors. So I really am feeling like I'm kind of in that friction zone. I'm not stalling, I'm not stopping anything, but I'm just going intentionally a lot slower. And what it has allowed me to do is, even though like I'm kind of rolling off the throttle and putting in the clutch, it's not so much towards my goals anymore, but it's more towards my family, which I'm seeing it can be goals. I've just never really thought about that. So I've really rolled off the throttle business-wise and been able to pivot family-wise. And even though in this season that feels really good, I still deeply want to go towards my business, and I want this podcast to be a top 1% podcast. And I want my coaching business to be absolutely successful. Well, I already have a huge amount of success, but I want to get to helping and inspiring 1 million women. That has always been my goal. So if you are listening to this and you're kind of like, shit, I'm just in a season where I can't go as hard as I want. It's not always about the upshifts, the up levels, getting in the fast lane, which for almost my entire life that I was so driven to like go faster, go harder, go better, go longer towards my goals and reaching that success. But I'm also like, well, slowing down can be done. It doesn't mean you have to stop anything. It just means you might have to restructure how you do things, and then also acknowledge that the speed might adjust depending on where you are on your journey. And I think that's really important for me. I have never really been in a place where I'm like, oh, I think I'm content with that. And like, I think I can actually cruise in the friction zone for a long time and enjoy it. So this is a new area for me and something that I wanted to share with everyone because, yeah, it just riding my motorcycle, I always have these little hits of inspiration. And also just coming home to who you are really. And I think my biggest thing is that, like, why am I doing all the business stuff? Like, yeah, the goal is to help and inspire women. That has been like my catchphrase in all my journaling, in all my goal setting, you know, since forever. Help and inspire 1 million women, help and inspire 1 million women. And I'm just like, man, being an online marketer, like, you have to be a marketer if you're having a business, right? There's no way around that. But I think I have taken it so far that, like, I forget who I am in the process, because I'm like, I gotta sell, in this caption, I gotta have a call to action. If I'm putting up an Instagram story, like, what's the point? Is it going to drive traffic to my website? Is it going to drive traffic to the podcast? Am I going to get a client out of it? And there is a time and a place for that. But for me, just reflecting right now in this moment, like, I really feel like that's not who I am. And I don't think it ever was. And I'm just on this whole journey of, like, what do I want to get back to at the core? Like, it's about helping the women. And I think for the podcast, absolutely, the reason we have been successful is because Jessie and I are a partnership. So, like, she keeps me grounded and in touch with that friendship. I think is really, we have this kind of, like, charismatic presence that we just feed off each other. And I think that keeps me more authentic than I probably would be by myself. And having that grounding presence in that, but also being like, okay, how can I, like, also ground myself outside of having that external influence? And a lot of that comes to family. And my husband and son are reading books and giggling in the next room. Family does that, but also I have to do it myself. And to say, like, okay, if the goal isn't to market something 24/7, like, every time I show up online, but what is the goal other than that? And I think it's being myself, showing up as who I am, like, showing the messy behind the scenes, like, being a real person, putting a video on YouTube when you just jumped out of the shower, no makeup, in your PJs, without really much thought, and just jumping on and vibing and hoping that connects. And to me, it breaks down so many barriers to showing up that it's like, fuck, can it actually be this easy? And I'm really hoping that it can be, because, like, life is just, there's just too much going on to be perfect all the time and have the perfect situation where I can film a YouTube video and look amazing and have the perfect lighting and, you know, all the things that I see all the pros doing. But the reality is, I'm not a pro at YouTube. I'm not a pro at Instagram, but I'm a pro at being myself, and I'm just trying to be more authentically me. And this was in part inspired by a podcast episode I had with a guest, and I was quizzing her. I was like, okay, you're so authentic, you're so yourself, you're so relatable, you're so you. And she's a friend, so I've known her for a while. I interviewed on her podcast as well, and I was like, just quizzing her about all this, and I was like, man, I can be that too. It's actually not that complicated. Just stop all the other shit. And even for me, it can be like just using my normal voice, like not putting on salesy or showing up online with like, here are 5 ways to achieve or manifest your dream life. And I've so done that for so long, and no hate or anything, like, do it. I think I needed to do that to get to the point where I'm now, where I'm just like, okay, what layers can I shed? How can I make this easier and be more of me? And that's really where I'm at today. The other thing that I thought would just be an interesting side note is I'm really loving doing my own nails. I have been a fan of a brand called Color Street for a long time, And actually my aunt, it was so beautiful. My aunt bought me a pair of nails from Colour Street. They do like ready-made stick-on nail polish, which is like actual nail polish nails, and it stays on for like 2 to 3 weeks. And it's so easy, man. It's like a beautiful manicure. Right now I'm wearing a beautiful mauve with like silver sparkles, and it makes me feel so special, and I can do it in 10 minutes or less. I love having pretty nails, but going to the salon where I live is like you have to wait for about an hour until they actually do your nails. And I just kind of fell out of love with having the maintenance and going back and having it done again. And this comes back again to that me coming back to myself and just shedding the layers of like, yes, I want the pretty outcome, but like, how can I make it as easy as possible with the least amount of barriers? So it's super affordable, it's super glittery and glam, and I can do it anytime at home as well. And that's something that's really just giving me so much joy in this season right now. And I'm also still taking care of myself and doing that self-care, but like I'm doing it in a way that really suits my lifestyle right now. And I've loved this brand for a long time, and I'm also just so interested in network marketing. I've just had a lot of people on my Instagram as network marketing babes lately, and I just love the idea that you can share a business with other women that you know. And no, I'm not a consultant for them. I have a friend who is, but that just fascinates me from a business perspective. You can buy into a business and a system and learn how to sell and how to thrive in business with a really low level investment. And I think a lot of people write off these network marketing businesses as like MLMs, and I don't think they're as bad as people think. I really don't. I think they deserve a second look from those people that have written them off. Also, you can just get beautiful nails for really affordable, and I'm so loving that. Another piece that I have been thinking about, and this is just more of me just riffing, is I think I'm going to change my hair. I've been going like full head of blonde for several years now. I went from never having dyed my hair ever in my life until I was about 31. And then I was like, no, I need to go like platinum blonde. And I went super full head of hair blonde for like, I guess it's probably been 3 or 4 years. And I'm just getting to the point where I'm like, I actually like it when my roots start growing out. And then I go to the salon and I'm like, yeah, full head of hair, whatever, $300, $350, whatever. And then I'm like, oh, I miss my roots. So like, what is that a metaphor for? I really feel like I need to dig into this and just feel like so much is coming up right now about going back to your authenticity, shedding the layers, being more of who you are, and showing up in a way that is just like easy and effortless and carefree and like just this whole fuck it vibe. Don't even care what everyone thinks. So you'll have to let me know if this resonates. If you're listening to the podcast, go ahead and comment on Spotify. If you're on YouTube, comment there as well. And then, I don't know, find me on Instagram and just say hi. I'm not going to sell you anything. I'm so over that. Just hang out with me. We'll have a good time. But that's the message today. It is just feeling happy in the friction zone. It is a challenge in itself. It is beautiful, but just because you're slowing down doesn't mean you're stalling out. And I really hope that is a message that serves you with wherever you are. And I hope you have an amazing day. I'll catch you soon.